Hi guys, we're here to tell you how to write a formal email to a professor or somebody who potentially could be getting a job through. So we're going to start it off with our don'ts.
Don't use a bad email address.
Do use a good email address.
Okay, so for example, we have a don't here. MackieBaby46290@AOL.com. Yeah, not very good, because if I were to be emailing a potential employer, I don't think I'd want them to know that that is what I call myself. So a good email is Mackenzie Rabbit. It will just be her name with a little number next to it. It's easy to remember, and employers know your name then also. Our next don't.
Don't use informal language.
Do use formal language.
So, for example, this is our informal language. What up, dog? How's my homie Shelly doing? I need my class schedule now. Just tell me what I have to take. Respond fast. It opens in 2 minutes. So, not very formal, as you can tell. There's not really another way to describe it besides bad. Here is our formal language, and you can see it's much better. Hello, I hope you are having a good weekend, Professor Payne. It's much more formal. Your professor looks at you as a professional, and that is what we're going for in these professional emails. Our next don't.
Don't use hey as an intro.
Make sure you have a proper intro.
So for example, we don't say hey in this one, but we say what up, dog, which is way worse than hey, and hey is still pretty not okay. In this one we say, hello, I hope you are having a good weekend. It warms the professor up to whatever question you may be asking or request you have. It is a great way to start your email. Our next don't.
Don't write a book.
Keep it short and simple.
For example, we have this really, really long paragraph. If you can tell, it talks about her weekend, how she's doing, what she's doing for Christmas. Although it is nice to get to know your professor and your professor to get to know you, you're really just asking this question down here, and they don't need all that extra information. Over here, we have a short and simple email, and the professor, whoever they may be, knows exactly what you are asking without having to read a novel. Our next don't.
Don't leave off on a question.
Make sure to say thank you and use a signature.
Right here we have a question at the end. There is no thank you, nothing else to leave it off. The professor may be thinking like you accidentally sent this email without being finished, and we do not want any questions to be had of them. So a question is not a good way to end your email. Over here, here is our question that we have, and then we have our thank you and signature after right here. Our next don't.
No fake subjects.
Make a good subject line.
So our fake subject line is urgent. Answer now. Not very good, because the professor is not held accountable for your lack of planning, and so even though they might see this, they might not answer it because they could think it's spam. So be careful with what you put at your subject line. An example of a good subject line is spring schedule. It tells exactly what our email will be about, and the professor is well informed before they read the email what kind of question you might be asking. Our next don't.
Don't use poor language and grammar.
Make sure to use proper grammar and spelling.
Okay, well this one just has a lot of issues to it. As you see, there's a lot of red squigglies, which we all know is bad. Scheduled is spelled phonetically, not how it actually is spelled. And we have improper things like thanks with an X and TTYL and XOXO. I would never talk to my professor or a potential employer with this kind of language, because it's meant to be like texting, and you are definitely not texting somebody when you're using an email. Over here, as you can see, there's no red squiggly. We like that. The grammar is good. One pro tip is make sure you double read or double check your email to make sure your grammar and spelling is correct before you hit send. It is a lifesaver. Our next do.
Give your available times.
So for example, we have a don't. It just says, hello, I would like to set up a time for an advisory meeting, thanks. It leaves the professor with a couple times or couple questions of like, when are you available? And so then you could have this ongoing email communication that you just want it to be short and simple. Whereas this email over here makes that happen for you. It gives exactly the times you are available Monday afternoon or Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 11:30. That way the professor can figure out something that works in their schedule. Hope you liked it. Hope you can write a professional email now, and go Cards!